Welcome to part 6 of the nightly rental, guide here. We're going to talk right now about property management. Do it yourself, hire a property manager. Which one should you do? Okay. There's obviously pros and cons to this. Let's talk about having somebody manage it for you. Okay. And in fact, a lot of times you're almost forced to have a property manager. Some nightly rentals have a property management company that they use. And if you buy into that, you have to use that. So it's very possible you may have to use a property management company. If you have the choice, which is always preferred in my opinion, then let's talk about that. So property managers, the nice thing about that is it's done for you. You don't have to worry about anything, right? They get the bookings, they take care of the cleanings, they take care of the house. I mean, it's really basically you just get, you tell them when you want to go to the house. You have them block out those dates for you, and then you're able to go to the house, enjoy it, and you leave. You don't have to worry about things, okay? Very convenient. A downside, of course, of a property management company is they are not cheap. On average, they're charging 30%. I've heard as high as 40%. It's a lot of money that those property management companies make. Normally on like a long-term rental, a house that people live in and they rent month to month, that's normally like 8 to 12% is kind of what I see there. Okay, so for a property management company to charge you 40 to 50%, that gets quite expensive. Okay, that's a lot of your money. That's most of your profit, if not all of your profit. Maybe even you're paying money to have that house now. Okay, so property management companies, they're okay. Again, pros and cons. Sometimes they do, so another pro for a property management company is sometimes they do have, additional outlets where they can get additional bookings, right? Because they're maybe a big entity, and so they have exclusive things with different companies and stuff like that where they get so many bookings coming in. Most bookings though, Airbnb, VRBO, and so I think you'd be okay. So let's talk about not managing it. Having a property management company and just doing it yourself. If you're watching this video, you might be somebody that likes to do things yourself anyhow, right? You're already kind of thinking about it and stuff like that. And that's kind of where I fall. I prefer to manage it myself. That's just, I hate paying so much money to somebody oftentimes when they do a poorer job than I was doing. In fact, with my first nightly rental, that's exactly what happened. Is I was managing it myself for several years. 5-star reviews, everybody was happy, had a great local lady that would clean the home and take care of it and stuff like that. And unfortunately, the HOA that was run by the golf course, they ended up wanting to take over my nightly rental and manage it, have them manage it. And I fought them for several years. We ended up in a lawsuit, ended up in mediation. Ultimately, they won, and I had to give over the reins to them and have them manage it for me. And they were not good. So it had a lot of problems. My reviews started to sink as far as the cleaning of the home and stuff like that. That was not done very well. So I had all these people kind of upset, and the problem was I couldn't do anything. So I'd have friends that would stay there, and they'd be like, "Hey, yeah, thanks for letting me stay there. There was this and this and this problem," and it's like, "Well, thanks for telling me. I can't do anything about it." So it was very frustrating to me. But when you're doing it yourself, obviously you're going to save that money. Okay. And can you do it yourself? Yeah, really the main thing you need if you're going to do it yourself, manage that house yourself, is you need to have somebody on site that you trust, okay? And that's typically the cleaner, okay? The local person, whoever that is, that's going to clean the home for you and take care of it. Because really what happens is after every guest checks out, that person comes in, looks at the house, cleans the sheets, cleans the kitchen, everything like that, gets everything ready for the next guest, but they're also there to check and see, oh, hey, it looks like that TV's broken or that lamp broke or whatever, right? And so then they can report to you and say, hey, this and this broke, and at that point you can try to talk to the people that rented the home and say, hey, looks like you broke this, I need you to pay this to repair it, right, or to replace it. And so really having that person on site makes managing it not too hard, because then everything else, as far as the bookings go, checking on the home. We have Nest thermostats, which are really nice because you can check to make sure the house is, actually heating in the winter, so you're not going to freeze any pipes and stuff like that. You have internet to the home, so I have outdoor exterior cameras, right? Nothing indoor, but all exterior cameras, so I can check on the house, see how things are going. Really, we live in a time where managing it remotely is not that hard. As far as, obviously, the two major booking sites right now are Airbnb and VRBO. These are both very good sites, and that's where 95% of my bookings come from. The last 5% would just be friends and family. Okay, most of my bookings come from those two sites, and so getting set up with them is very easy. Their calendars don't always sync. There is some software sometimes that says, "Hey, we'll sync the calendars." I found trouble with that sometimes, and so personally, what I do is just when I get a booking, I just hurry and make sure that I book the other, block out the dates on that other calendar. Okay. I also have a personal website, playharding.com. That's where I manage my rentals also, and so that's where friends and family or repeat clients can come back and book directly with me. Okay. It's worked out very well. I would highly recommend managing it yourself. It's not as hard as you may think it is. It is, now having said that, there is work associated. I would say on average, I spend about 20 minutes a guest, okay? And that's between inputting things in, blocking out dates, and answering any questions that maybe somebody has, which often, most of the time, things are not, there's not things that you need to answer, okay? Most of the time people are pretty much like, hey, I just booked it, I know we're good, they trust that, they don't have to call in and ask questions. I would say the other thing you'd want to make sure you do if you manage it yourself is have lots and lots of guides, okay? And what I mean by that is, in the house, if you go to any of my houses, there's a check-in procedure, there's a check-out procedure that's on the wall, Velcroed to the wall or screwed into the wall, that's laminated. This nice thing, I have one big problem sometimes is the TV remote. Everybody's remotes are different, and so they're not sure how to use my TV and what it does and stuff like that. And so I have a very detailed thing on how to use this TV, how to access movies, Netflix, different things like that, right? So having guides are very important if you're going to manage it yourself. Really, if you have a property manager, I guess it depends on how much the property manager does. But I would still have these guides. They're very helpful because, again, people they want to know what to do. And they want to know how to do it, and that's the benefit of these guides is, hey, everything's laminated, everything's in there. Oh, okay, how do I do this? Okay, it's time to check out. What does the owner want me to do? Oh, he wants me to take off the sheets, start the dishwasher, close the blinds, stuff like that, right? So again, managing it yourself versus property management companies, definitely pros and cons. Obviously, I heavily weight towards doing it yourself. That's just me. If that's not you and you would prefer a property manager, I think, again, that's fine. Just make sure if you have a choice, you look around, get the best one that's gonna really take it seriously, take care of your clients, so that you do get good reviews, because that's a huge thing of getting repeat business. And then the last thing is just make sure you go into it with eyes wide open, knowing that you're paying a good amount of money for somebody to manage it for you. That concludes part 6.